welcome to You Make the Difference. I'm Wanda Scarborough, and I have as my guest today Wanda Lau. And Wanda Lau works for West Georgia Health. She is a cancer care navigator. And you're going to explain what a cancer care navigator is. And I just want to say that I know the importance of having a navigator before you begin because of my experience. And so let's just share what a cancer care navigator does.
Okay. I am a registered nurse, and I've been an experienced nurse for about 38 years, and that's hard to say. And I myself had a cancer experience in 2001. As the navigator, I work as a liaison for the patient, an advocate for the patient. Just as the word navigator implies, I try to help get people through the maze in the system of dealing with a critical disease or something that is very emotionally charged and
Yes.
Brings on a lot of problems for patients. Just dealing with hearing the word cancer. So I try to make the journey a little easier for them and try to make sure there are no barriers in between them and getting what they need for their treatment.
Yes. And what are some of the things that you do in order to help them get through that?
Well, I help manage two support groups we have, the West Georgia Cancer Support Group, which is for all cancers, and the Breast Friends for Life, which is our breast cancer support group. I also am just someone they can talk to. A lot of times all they really need to see is a face of someone who's been down that road and has gotten on the other side. But a big part of what I do, particularly in our community, is to try to make sure people have transportation to their treatments. If they're going to have radiation therapy, that's 5 days a week, a short period of time, but it's for several weeks, sometimes up to 7 or 8 weeks. And that can be a hardship for people that don't have transportation. We don't have public transportation here, and sometimes they can't afford the gas to get back and forth, particularly if they live in outer areas from LaGrange. So that's a big part of what I do.
Yes, and we were talking a little bit before the show started about Paint the Town Pink, and with Paint the Town Pink, the proceeds also go to help women who have breast cancer. And tell me some of the ways that it helps those women.
Okay, well, we started this event 7 years ago, and it started with a small group of women who just wanted to bring a celebration of life to breast cancer survivors on the square, and it has really grown into a big community event. And now we have the Hope for a Day walk that we've done for 2 years, and we've actually found ourselves as an organization being able to have money that we can actually grant women during the time that they're going through treatment, and if they have special needs. We've done things such as we try to provide a basket to all women that we know of that get diagnosed, and the basket has some care items that we think will just help them in their diagnosis of breast cancer. And then we've done some things like pay utility bills when someone gets behind, or help them with their rent. Help them with gas card if they need to. We just, whatever the needs. We have a anonymous group from our breast cancer support group that, get the request, and then we decide that, we should help these people. So, we do what we can, and the money we raise at the Hope Walk and at the raffle and the things that we do on the square with selling our pink items all continue to help us be able to do that. Yes,
and I know that basket does have some very special items in it. It has a little hat.
That hat is made by the Troup County Senior Citizens. There's a group of women that do that, and they make lap quilts, and then there's some other women. I think the women at Curves have helped us make some caps and things that go in our basket. So again, we just have an outpouring of the community that supports what we're doing to try to make things easier for breast cancer survivors.
Yes, and that's really encouraging to people when they get that basket, to know that somebody has put that time and that love into I guess it's crocheting or knitting a cap for them. And so, you need all the support you can get when you're going through that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And as the cancer care navigator. That just reminds me of this book, and it's called Waiting for the Train. And we had Carla Cook-Smith, who is the artist who did the picture on the show, and she also put together a book, and the book tells stories of women in Georgia who have gone through the breast cancer experience. And the picture depicts women. Carla said she didn't start out with this in mind. She just started out putting paint on the canvas, and what developed from this was women waiting for a train. She said it looked like they were waiting for something, so she did a little train track. And when she started showing this book or the painting, it got picked up by various people that are promoting breast cancer awareness and raising money for cancer research. And so you're in the book with your story, with Paint the Town Pink, and I'm in the book also with my story. So I guess we may be the only two in LaGrange.
I think there is another young woman that lives in Hogansville who's
in Hogansville,
and,
okay.
And I don't know if I'm not sure if there are any other people besides us that are from the local area.
Yes.
But we're excited about having Carla at Paint the Town Pink this year.
Yes.
And we're just going to have her speak just a little bit about her painting and her inspiration for that and for the book. And the book will be on sale at Paint the Town Pink at our Breast Friends for Life booth. And also we've asked Carla if she'd like to bring some of her prints too. So people get a chance to meet her and get inspired by her. I thought her story really inspired me and made me want to be part of her project. So I'm excited.
And she's really touched by how the Lord really used that painting to help so many. I want to talk about the Paint the Town Pink and just give us an idea of what will be around the square that day.
Okay. Well, first of all, the Hope Walk will start that morning.
Yes.
It starts at 8 o'clock. They start warming up at 7:30 at the LSPA parking lot, and women and men who are out there right now raising money to do this walk, they'll do a 10-mile journey that morning. And they will end up coming onto the square at the end of the event in mass, which is a great closing to the whole day.
Yes.
But what happens after they're out on the walk is we set up the square with pink tents and the pink fountain and the beautiful decorations that Pam Herndon always has a crew that helps pull together, making the square look great for the day. But we'll be there with a lot of information and resources, particularly of interest to women. Because as breast cancer survivors, we focus a lot on cancer, but there's so many other diseases and issues. A lot of times, we forget about our heart, and we forget about blood pressure, and we forget about kidney disease, and some of the things that, really there are more women die of heart disease than they do breast cancer or any other cancer. So we try to provide an opportunity for people to get a lot of information that would help them. And also, there'll be many of the people there will be from West Georgia Health, from the Heart Clinic and the home care and the hospice group, with information about their programs so that we can, help our community to be healthier. And, your group is going to be there. We're excited about having you this year. And we have a group of folks from Al-Anon that is a very important support. And we just try to let folks be there that have good information that can help and help us to choose better things for our life and to make sure we're in good shape.
And there'll also be some vouchers for women.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. That's a very important event. What we've been able to do, the money we've raised with the Hope Walk, we've given money to Central Georgia Cancer Coalition, which is a part of the Georgia Cancer Coalition out of Columbus, but we are part of their coalition here in West Georgia. And that money that we donate to them is used to help women in this area, particularly Meriwether and Troup County, to be able to get a mammogram if they don't have any other way to do it. You know, there are programs, the health department has breast tested more.
Yes.
And women that are between the age of 40 and 65 can be served through that program to get mammograms and cervical screenings to make sure they're okay. But there are many women that fall out of the gap of being able to be served in that program. And we use our money to do that. The women will be able to, on the square, we'll have the West Georgia Health mobile care unit there. We'll be able to give clinical breast exams to anybody that needs those.
Yes.
And those people who need a mammogram and can't get them otherwise will be given a voucher, and we'll help them get an appointment set up to get their mammogram done at the Women's Center, and be able to know that, you know, if they even need an ultrasound from that mammogram, or if they need a biopsy,
Yes.
we take them all the way. And if they get the diagnosis, then we get them in the proper program that will pay for their cancer treatment. So there's really no reason for women not to get a mammogram in our community.
That's right.
It frightens me when people don't do that, and they may say they're scared, and that, you know, is just not an option.
It isn't.
Because I don't know what your story is, but for me, I had my mammogram every year since right before I was 40. And one year when I went, the radiologist says there's something there and it's suspicious.
Yeah.
And it wasn't there the year before. And I went and got the biopsy and found out that it was an invasive ductal cancer,
Yes.
a very common breast cancer, but an invasive means it's invaded my duct wall.
Yes.
And that means the horse could be out of the barn, and the cancer could be anywhere in my body, you know. You can't see the little cells that could have gone from there. So I just shudder to think, if I had not done my mammogram that year, if I missed 1 year,
That's right.
I don't think I'd be able to sit here and talk to you or anybody else about the importance of taking care of your health.
That's right. And I worked at the health department, so I had started early getting my mammograms too. And then I heard somewhere that mammograms, 10% of the breast cancers were caused from mammograms. Well, that scared me, and so I said, well, I'm not going to have them as frequently. And then it had been like 2.5 years, and then I went in. I had the same experience that you did. They found the lump, and they said, when you go in and that happens, and they start treating you very nicely, and honey, we need to get you over here and take a look at what that is, and they start patting you on the arm, you think, oh my gosh. But the same thing, I had a lump, and it was invasive, and I thought, wow, I really, I don't know how long that had been there.
Exactly.
And what if I had waited another year? So, talking about that journey that you go through that's depicted on this book, it took me a while to know where I was in the stage of the game, because I had like a biopsy, and then they said, we didn't take it all, so you'll have to have another surgery. And so I had another surgery to get the rest of it, but then they said we didn't get it all. And so I had another surgery. So I ended up having 4 surgeries before I was clear, and I had a breast removed in the end. And with that tissue, there was no cancer in that tissue. And also at that point is when they tested the lymph node and said, it's not in the rest of your body in your stage 1. But it was a long time in the process before I knew I was a stage 1. And I'm so thankful that I did, because I was thinking about going another year.
Oh, I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, and I was laying in bed one night, and I thought, I need to have a mammogram. And so I went, and that's what I found. And so I just want to encourage ladies to have your mammogram every year, and don't miss. And And I guess that's the recommendation now, is
Yes,
once a year still.
yes, it still is.
Yeah.
I mean, we have not changed that recommendation, to do that. And, the older you get, the more you need a mammogram as well. But, we see, unfortunately, too many young women, even, I've known some women in their 30s and in their 20s who've been diagnosed with breast cancer. Yes, mammogram's not 100%, so therefore you need to have that clinical exam every year as well. And we'll have a trained nurse practitioner that's able to do that. And, if you get it from your physician or you get it from a trained nurse practitioner, they have nurses at the health department that do that as well, that are trained. But that is a critical part, as well as your own self-exam.
Yes.
A lot of people say, when I do that, everything feels lumpy and I don't know what I'm feeling. But it's not every month. You're not on a seek and destroy mission to find a cancer. What you're about is trying to understand what your own breasts feel like. And then therefore you can understand when there's something that doesn't feel right.
Right.
And get in to get that taken care of.
Yes.
So those three things have always been, the breast exam yourself every month, the clinical exam every year, and that mammogram every year past the age of 40. If you find something before you're 40, it needs to get checked out. And there are ways to get, people checked out. For instance, even though the health department has their 40 to 65 breast tests and more, the money from Hope Walk, we gave them a grant of money to serve underage women that need help.
Yes.
So again, and with the coalition, there's just absolutely no reason women can't, get a mammogram.
Yeah.
And, if they don't know where to go, call me at West Georgia Health, 845-3866 is my number, or just call the hospital and say, let me speak to that lady that works in cancer.
Yeah, that's what I do.
They'll probably get to me, but we will find a way to get people served. We are so passionate about making sure that everybody gets their breast health taken care of. That we'll make it happen.
Yeah, and that's good to know. That's good for everybody to know. And I know that y'all even brought out the van to do mammograms and those kinds of things at the back to school bash.
Well, we don't do mammograms on the vehicle, but we do the
Okay.
exam and give the vouchers. And yes, we did at the bash, the back to school bash. It was a great event, and we were glad to be there. We also, with the coalition, we have gone to many of the faith-based organizations in our community. We've done a screening in Hogansville every year for the last 3 years, and I think 3 at least. And we've gone to West Point and partnered with the church there, and we've partnered with several churches here locally in LaGrange. One was the organization that put on the bash, the back to school bash. So if people have those needs, we'll try to work on what we can do. But that's what we found, that working with faith-based organizations with the coalition is a great way to engage women in getting what they need. The whole idea is that your church organization will go out in the community and find those people, not just in your congregation, but in the community around your church that are in need and need this to happen. For instance, in Hogansville, we have the Ministerial Association, which is many pastors from different churches. They're the ones who sponsored our event, and we did it downtown. But they also are very active in God's Bread Basket in Hogansville, so they are able to see firsthand people who have needs and make sure they know how they can get taken care of.
Yeah, because I guess probably all women go to the grocery store. That's a good place to find women, and then lots of women go to church, don't they?
Right.
And so that's another good place to find.
And those women are instrumental in getting their husbands involved. Now, one of the things we're here to talk about painting pink, but coming up is the prostate screening we do at West Georgia Health, and we've worked on trying to go that avenue to get men to get their prostates checked out. This is a $5 opportunity to get a clinical digital rectal exam, which I know people don't want to think about, but it's important.
Yes.
And then to get the lab work done for $5. We may be filled up now. We do that on September the 11th and 13th, they have to call for an appointment at 845-3000
Yes.
is the phone number. So, women, get your men out there to get taken care of too. We find that's a good way to get to the guys.
It
through
is.
the women.
It is. It is. And I want to talk a little bit about your art therapy that you provide for the women, and also that it's going to be displayed during Paint the Town Pink. So will you tell us about that?
Absolutely. At West Georgia Health, this is not just for women, this is for anyone with cancer. We have 2 great programs we're really proud of that are complementary therapies for people going through cancer. And one is art therapy, and the other is Healthy Steps it's an exercise program that one of our physical therapists, Mary Walker's been trained in. It's very gentle exercise that anybody can do. It is also geared towards people who have other chronic diseases, and we don't just limit it to cancer. But anyway, we can get you more information if you call us at West Georgia about that. But the art therapy, that is just an incredible story, the way that started. We had a gentleman that had been an art student, and he had not been able to complete doing what he wanted to do with his art, and he was going through cancer treatment. Our nurse practitioner identified, that was an interest he had, and I talked with our marketing graphic artist about ways we could try to help him, and just happened to, this is a God wink,
Yes.
just happened to mention this idea to the right person, which was Amber Dow. And Amber's an artist that lives in Grantville, and she does a lot of work in Hogansville. She and I were talking one day, and I told her that we wanted to do this. She was like, I've always wanted to do art
Yay.
therapy. So she volunteers her time to come on Fridays. We do usually about 2 Fridays a month, and help people just, express themselves through art. Almost all of our supplies have been donated to us. We bought very little in the beginning to do this. We found an empty room that we could, set up as art therapy at the cancer clinic. And last year we built torsos that people took the torsos and creatively described the journey they'd been on with their bodies. And we found it so powerful that we didn't just stick with breast cancer, and we didn't just stick with cancer.
Yeah.
We opened it up to other people with chronic diseases. We had 54 torsos that were unbelievable. We did a book about that too, the stories. We did a DVD of people telling their stories of what they'd gone through, and it was an emotional, cathartic experience to be part of that. This year we wanted to do a different project, and Amber came up with the idea of quilts. And so participants have gotten a 12 by 12 canvas, and they are using that canvas to creatively describe a connection. The art installation is called The Journey Connections. So on their canvas, they'll creatively describe the connection they made during their journey of cancer or whatever chronic disease they've had. But it might be a spiritual connection. It might be a pet, it might be a person, it might be a family member. So once we get those creations back, then we will creatively put together these quilts and place these common woven threads together to tell the story. And also people will write a small essay about their journey and about their project. We'll put together a book that can be purchased there. The purchase of the book will also perpetuate our art therapy program. And right now we're working on getting donated art items that we can do a silent auction the night of the opening, so that that can help perpetuate the program as well. So it's very exciting. It's very good to be able to put into a creative way. I mean, you don't have to be an artist to come to this class.
Yes.
Most of the people that come are not. But we have different media. People can express themselves in different ways. We have someone that have used pictures that tell story about their hair loss through the cancer experience. So the art show will open up on Thursday. That's September the 27th, the Thursday before Paint the Town Pink. And it'll be at the Cochran, which is right off the square.
Yes.
And we'll open at 6:30 for the grand opening of the show. And then it will be open during Paint the Town Pink on that Saturday for people to go in. And then from then on out, during the month of October, we have it opened There's one other Saturday, I don't have that date, but it's on our invitation. And then the Friday afternoons and early evenings, we hope to have that exhibit open for people to be able to go in and see.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, it's exciting.
As I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, I remember last year, I think it was, like on my way into town, seeing a car coming out with just people dressed in pink boas and every sort of kind of pink. And I was headed to a meeting, but I was wondering, you're inviting everybody to come,
Absolutely.
right? And it
Absolutely.
is in support of the women. And
Right.
In one place, I think in your book, it said that you release balloons. Are you going to do that again this year?
Well, that's a good question, and that is usually a very poignant moment in our ending of our celebration, is to release a balloon. It sort of helps release what you felt during this cancer experience. Unfortunately, we just found out that there's a shortage of helium.
Oh.
Why, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're concerned we may not be able to get helium balloons.
Okay.
And you know, there's always a concern about the environmental factor with balloons. So we have a good plan
Yes.
for what we're going to do at the end. I
Okay.
won't tell it on the air because I want you to come and see.
Yes.
So, you know, we will do something very wonderful. And again, at the end of this event, right around 12, you know, prior to 12 o'clock, we'll have some, the Sons of Lafayette are going to perform.
Oh, yes.
We have, you know, Carla Cook-Smith's going to tell. We have some other things that we'll be doing on the square. With Zumba, Kelly Kemp has a great Zumba class. I'm
Yes.
addicted to it. I love it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. And she's going to come up and do a Zumba demonstration. And our Healthy Steps class, they're going to come up and show what Healthy Steps is all
Yeah.
about. So, but sometime shortly after 12, the walkers will come into town that have been on the 10-mile journey. And the crew members will come on and form a place for the survivors to walk on and the walkers, and it's just absolutely beautiful. We have asked people all over town this year to decorate their yard,
Yes.
to decorate their business, to when they're on the booth on the square, to decorate those booths, and we're going to have a contest to see who can pink it up the most. You know, they all they have to do is they go to our website bfflhopeforoday.com. Or either it may be .org. I'm so sorry if I messed that up, but anyway, you'll find us if you Google BFFL Hope for a Day, and send a picture in of your business or your yard or your you know, we'll see them on the square. We won't have that ahead of the game, but we need those pictures in pretty much by that Wednesday before the event, so that we can judge. Our panel of judges will look at the pictures and they'll decide. And we have, you know, a special, the Honeysuckle, a new business in Hogansville. She's making a special recognition for the yards and the businesses to show who wins. So you're going to want to know.
Yeah, that is
We'll
great.
announce that at Paint the Town Pink too.
So a lot of the businesses around the square will be decorated.
I
pink.
hope all over town. And they don't just have to be on the square. It can be all over town.
And so if anybody wants to come in, they can dress in pink or not, but just show up
show
in
up.
support of the many survivors that we have
right.
in our town. And, you know, I just want to thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
And I want to encourage everybody to come out and support Paint the Town Pink, and we so appreciate all of the people who are walking in the walk Hope for the
Right,
Day.
and if you want to donate to that, just, you know, call and let me know. We'll get a donation in for you, or buy a sign that has someone's name on it that'll go on the walk route. You know, there's a lot of ways to support this event.
Yes, and most of all, we want you to get involved, because remember, you make the difference.